It seems to be that Epstein was more in the Democrat web, so to speak, and was trying to help them take Donald Trump down. So I'm not so sure why they're trying to pin all of this, again, back on Donald Trump. But he's like, I'm not having it. We'll release all of these things. What do I care? I think he might have, along the way, first of all, maybe been somewhat sensitive to the fact that he had a relationship with Epstein, even though he hadn't gone there, etc. But maybe he was just somewhat sensitive to that. I also suspect that he's somewhat sensitive to our intel ops possibly being exposed. I mean, that's one of the theories that's been floated out there, that somehow everybody knew about this. Everybody knew how bad this guy was. I mean, clearly the Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands lady, Plaskett, she knew he'd already gone to jail, and yet she's like, can you help me with my questions for the hearing? I mean, so everybody knew he was a bad dude, and yet they're still coming back for more. So that's what you're going to find out. I suspect that Donald Trump, again, being the patriot he is, doesn't really love that we're going to learn some really ugly stuff about a lot of people. That may have something to do with it. I don't know. But I don't think it has anything to do with him the more I see all this. And again, he's saying, bring it all forward. Come one, come all, right? Here he is, as we explained last night on True Social, saying, I don't care, because you know who this is going to entrap? It's going to entrap the Democrats, not the Republicans. And here he is over the weekend calling on Pam Bondi at DOJ, saying, you know what, you got to go out there, you got to investigate Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, the JP Morgan Chase relationship. That was with the banker that I guess wound up at Barclays, and then wound up out, I guess, altogether, and many other people and institutions, to determine what was going on with them and Epstein. This, in his opinion, is another Russia scam with all the arrows pointing to the Democrats. Records show that these men and many others spent large portions of their life with Epstein and on his island. Stay tuned. She said, okay, Mr. President, I'm on it. I'm going to do it. We're putting Jay Clayton on this. He's one of the most capable and trusted prosecutors in the country, and I've asked him to take the lead. As with all matters, the department will pursue this with urgency and integrity to deliver answers to the American people. Well, so far, what have we learned in the emails that were released? That, they were salivating over at MSNBC and just salivating over at the New York Times. And it's like, okay, all we see is Jeffrey gossiping about Donald Trump. But we also saw some stuff that, honestly, guys, is really not a very good look for some of the key Dems. Poor Larry Summers. I mean, he was trying to have a secret relationship with a woman whom he called a mentee. In the Me Too movement, it's kind of a little bit awkward, right, for that to be happening. But this is the guy who used to run Harvard. This is the guy who used to be the Treasury Secretary under Obama. This is a former head of the NSC. I might be getting my Clinton and Obama's terms. He's basically, anytime there's a Democrat president, Larry Summers is in the wings as an econ advisor. And actually, you know what? I like Larry. And Larry's been on my show a zillion times over the years at Bloomberg. I don't think he came on Fox so often, but certainly on Bloomberg. And I appreciated during the crisis of summer 2020 that Larry was actually right out there, and he was spot on, saying, you know what, guys, you're going to have a ton of inflation because you're printing so much money. And he was right. But anyway, the poor guy, not very good with women, apparently, and went to Jeffrey Epstein for advice. So one of the moments that's come out was apparently Summers writing to Epstein saying, I said, when talking about a woman, what are you up to? And she said, I'm busy. I said, awfully coy you are. And Epstein replied, you reacted well. Annoyed shows caring. No whining shows strength. And then here's another. Okay. In one exchange, Summers lamented that the woman had grown distant. He said, I said, what are you up to? She said, I'm busy. Again, that's the coy remark. And then Epstein tells him, she's smart, making you pay for past errors. Ignore the daddy, I'm going out with the motorcycle guy. Annoyed shows caring. No whining showed strength. I mean, not bad advice, right? For poor Larry Summers. Other emails show Summers forwarding Epstein notes from the woman and asking how he should respond. I mean, this guy's like in 7th grade, okay? I mean, you're the Treasury Secretary and you're in friggin' 7th grade when it comes to like relationships. He said, think no response while I would probably be appropriate. He writes to Epstein. Epstein encouraged the silence, replying, quote, she's already beginning to sound needy. Nice. I mean, really, 20,000 pages and this or 20,000 emails, and this is what we get, all while Donald Trump is walking away unscathed. So now it's all going to come out. And the crazy thing is, these Democrats like Chuck Schumer, I mean, they're just falling all over themselves and humiliating themselves in the process because they seem to think that this is a big deal. And I'm like, whoa, guys, you know what? You had 4 years. You had 4 whole freaking years. And we know you were trying to do everything you possibly could to take him down. I mean, every which way to Sunday, from Fannie Wilson, Georgia, to Letitia James in New York, along with Alvin Bragg and Jack Smith. I mean, you were at it from every single angle you could get. And then you still came up empty-handed, and he still won. Wow. I mean, if you had something, I'm just saying, in the Epstein files, you don't think that would have come out? I mean, you had 4 years to release them, but you never wanted to? I wonder why. I wonder why. Chuck Schumer ignoring the obvious. Maybe he doesn't hear it. Maybe he's going the way of Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi, I ask.
Okay.
Senator, on that note, just I guess a question that's out there. Why wouldn't they have been released the last 4 years when President Biden was in office?
Well, that's the question every American is asking. Or not every American, but so many Americans are asking. What the hell is he hiding? Why doesn't he want them released? When you don't want something like this released, when even a whole lot of Republicans are calling for the release, his own party members, people ask the question, what's he hiding? It's got to be answered by releasing the files. Okay?
There'll be a veto.
Well, he's going to release the files, okay? So I think that's pretty humiliating, Chucky, because you know what? You were the guys that were in charge for 4 years, and you were the ones who chose not to release the files. I mean, I'm like, if there was something there, believe me, you guys would have been all over it. Like, you know what? Here's Stephen Smith agreeing with me.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that the Epstein files were in existence and free to have been opened during the Biden administration. You were there for 4 years.
Yes, you were.
How come you didn't open it as a Democratic Party then?
I don't know.
What am I missing?
I think there's nothing there.
It's a legitimate question. Maybe I don't remember the answer. Maybe my extraordinary producers should be able to help me during the commercial break.
Here's the answer, Stephen. I'll tell you what the answer is. They don't have anything there. They're just going with the Russia thing, like however they can. This is the Russia 2.0, okay? So they don't have anything, but they can just throw some innuendo out there. And, they can say how Jeffrey really thought that Donald Trump was a scumbag. I'm sorry. Jeffrey Epstein thinks Donald Trump is a scumbag? Like, do you understand the irony in that? Okay? Like, yeah, he's buddies with all of Clinton's friends. He's buddies with the representative from the Virgin Islands who needs to go to him to ask who Trump's assistant is before she clearly doesn't have very good staff because she's clearly not very prepped to do her cross-examination of one Michael Cohen. I mean, this is unbelievable. These people really, I mean, they just take the cake, I gotta say. So this whole story is now effectively backfiring, majorly backfiring on the entire Democratic Party. As this Democrat gets caught texting Epstein during all of this. I got to say, pretty amazing stuff. Just amazing. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, again, totally annexing Marjorie Taylor Greene from the party. Here he is speaking on the tarmac. He's being asked about Marjorie Taylor Greene, who claims somehow that she's the victim in all of this. And now she is really worried for her own personal safety. And of course, nobody should be in that position. But he's like, wait, what? She's worried about what? Oh, and he's got a new nickname for her. Brand new nickname. Let's see how this one sticks. I'm going to play it for you. Watch.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.
In other words, she's not that big a deal. Nobody really cares about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, I know you guys were kind of annoyed the other day because you did see that she went on to The View and she somehow was siding with Whoopi and Sunny and Joy. And they're like, oh, you should come and become a Democrat. Like, maybe she will. I mean, isn't it an attention thing? I don't know. This is like not just the Epstein emails and files. That's not the only thing that she's been outspoken on. She's actually been outspoken on a lot of other stuff. So she thought, for some reason, that the Republicans should just fold when they held all the cards, and the Democrats were the ones holding up the government from reopening. It's like she's really just trying to make a name for herself that's anti-Trump. I think ultimately it probably backfires politically, but nonetheless, Donald Trump was like, I don't get her. And I'm going over to China. She doesn't even want me to go to China. You know what's going to happen if we don't have real negotiations with China? Problems. Here he is.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is not anyway. I mean, she is a very different thinking than I have. Something happened to her over the last period of a month or two where she changed, I think, politically. I think that her constituents aren't going to be happy. Already, I have people calling me. They want to challenge her to a race in her district in Georgia. And, that's too bad. She's lost a wonderful conservative reputation. But when she says, don't go overseas, if I didn't go overseas, we might be in a war right now with China.
Gosh, I mean, that's scary stuff. One would hope not, but in other words, he's trying to have some kind of diplomatic relations. Again, if you're just joining us right now, we've been talking about these emails that Donald Trump is demanding be released. We have also just learned from the Washington Post, you guys, that Epstein was texting the woman from the Virgin Islands in real time as she was questioning Michael Cohen, which once again points to the allegiance of Epstein entirely 1,000% in the camp of the Democrats. So, wow. Tony making the point that she still loves MTG. We'll see. I think a lot of people are frustrated with her right now because it feels as though she's trying to divide and conquer in some way. And that won't really be a recipe for ultimate success. So, look, you got to realize at some point, right? You're playing on a team, and the entire goal of the other team is to try and break you apart, right? Because you're not as strong together. And so she's kind of gone off the reservation, so to speak, and that's coming back. I think politically it will haunt her, and I think that Donald Trump will be fine. But it's important that conservatives also stay together on something like this. I would say that she's trying in her own way to say or make amends, perhaps. I want to share with you a clip of Marjorie Taylor Greene going on to CNN last night. Again, she's going on The View. She's going on CNN. Pretty soon she's going to get a gig at MSNBC. Oh, I hear they're looking for conservatives now that they got a big spinoff. There you go. You can be like the resident conservative, just like they have one on The View where you're sort of like the never Trumper conservative. It might be a good gig for you, MTG. Anyway, here she is on CNN last night calling out Trump.
Would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. Really? I really just want to see people be kind to one another. And we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences. Yeah. And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements. And I stand by my words today. I think America needs to come together and end all the toxic, dangerous rhetoric and divide. And I'm leading the way with my own example, and I hope that President Trump can do the same.
Okay, so she's trying to take the high road, so to speak. Do you buy that? In all seriousness, I'm sorry, I just don't buy it, given her past history and given the sort of political nature of this particular person. I think that Donald Trump is probably, rightly so, saying she's no longer part of MAGA, and she really doesn't represent MAGA because she's so out there.